Welcome to episode 96 of the Wilderness Podcast. I'm your host, Dills, and with me is Deegan.
Hey, how's it going?
So some of the topics for this week, we get the tournament worlds temporarily, some mobile enhancements, and I guess some Theater of Blood tweaks. And we also get information on the new quest that we talked about last week, I believe. And they release the requirements for the quest as well as some of the rewards. But that's not all. We also see a new lure/scam, if you want to call it that, with the release of the new Revenant weapons. The possibility of some changes to the toxic blowpipe. Some predictions that some of the rare items in Oldschool RuneScape might drop in value. And lastly, we see yet again a little bit of internal struggle going on with Jagex over on RuneScape 3. But before we get into all of that, Deegan, how was your week?
Oh, it was okay. I'm still sick. It's actually getting kind of bad.
It's getting worse, or you've just been sick for too long?
Maybe a bit of both. I'm not really too sure. It's today is, I think, specifically been bad. I don't know. I'm just super runny right now. It's brutal.
Nice.
Ugh. What did I do this week? I actually didn't play that much RS again.
Oh boy, this is like 3 weeks in a row. What's going on over there?
I'll open it up, log in, and just not really know what to do.
Ooh, the burnout hit you hard, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, once this quest comes out, I'll do it day one and whatnot, but it's kind of I don't want to run a bunch of Chambers of Xeric, because I've done that so much already this year. Half the fucking year was me running Chambers of Xeric every single day. I could jump on and do rune crafting, but this new keyboard I have is super messed up. Something happens where mouse keys will cause my computer to have some sort of memory. I don't even know what it is, but I have to unplug and replug my keyboard to fix it. My computer will just start stuttering a lot. It's this really weird problem where it's my keyboard and mouse keys cause this issue, but if I use another keyboard, it's fine, but I can't type on that keyboard. I talked about that my old one maybe a month ago, the issues I had with that.
Right.
And then I don't really want to do agility all the time, even though there is a new agility method that's best experience rate, so I kind of want to try it out.
Whoa, you got to reveal this one, because this is I might need to hear this.
Yeah, you probably won't like to hear this, but it's the Werewolf Agility course.
God damn, scrap it.
It's very click intensive, but you get better experience. It's really good. You lose money too.
See, I'm looking for almost the exact opposite. No click intensivity, and I'm okay with it being shit experience as long as I can jog on the spot somewhere. That's all I'm looking for.
Yeah, I guess. But yeah, I kind of want to all I really need to do, the only goals I have set are 85 agility and 91 rune crafting. And rune crafting bloods is kind of a pain because my mouse keys issue, and yeah, agility is just agility, right? I get burnt out or bored after 2 hours of doing it.
Man, I get burnt out within 5 minutes.
Yeah. I've been playing some other games though. I've been playing some of that Oxygen Not Included,
Oh yeah, really digging that one?
Yeah, I talked about that last week. I beat the first Metro last night, actually. Metro 2033.
Good game?
Super good game. Really, really good game. There's a new one coming out in January, and I have the second one installed, and I'm going to start playing it tonight, I think.
Cool.
Playing a little bit of Path of Exile.
Oh yeah, okay, that's that Diablo 3 style of game.
More like Diablo 2, if we're going to be, picky.
Sure.
Yeah, it's pretty much, there's probably some other things. I think I played a bit of WoW, just kind of all over the place this week, I'm in, video game limbo, kind of. Oh, actually, I played some No Man's Sky, actually. I got that.
No, shut up, really?
Yeah, I got it for $25 or something. It was on sale.
Steam? Oh, I guess obviously, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so I bought that. There's that big next update or something.
Perfect. If you don't care about any No Man's Sky talk, you might want to skip forward 5 minutes or so. But I want to hear what your opinion of it is, because that game has fucking sucked me in. I sat down on Saturday morning. I woke up and I'm going to have my breakfast. And then I'm like, I don't know what to do. Maybe I'm going to play a little bit of No Man's Sky. I must have sunk almost the whole day just playing. Like, I didn't even realize. I was just in my basement playing, went upstairs, and the sun was gone. It was nighttime. I'm like, oh, fuck.
Okay, I'll start off by saying I have fun playing the game.
Here we go.
But it's one of those games where it's as big as an ocean, but deep as a puddle.
Somewhat, I guess.
Okay, I like flying around in space and fucking shit up. I hate going on the ground and scanning shit for an hour straight for money and that other currency to buy upgrades.
Yeah.
I hate the arbitrary things that make you waste a minute of your time because, like, it's just being really finicky. There's sometimes where, like, you're flying and, like, you'll warp drive somewhere, but then it doesn't warp you into the right place, and you have to, like, fly around for like a minute to get, and it's like, it's not a big deal, it's a minute, but when you do that like 8 times or 10 times in one session, it's 10 minutes of just holding like right trigger and just standing, or like B, and just like you're holding a button just sitting there, and it's kind of like, well, that's kind of annoying. There's a lot of like there's a lot of filler time. I feel like that's a game where you could play it for 100 hours, and easily 10 hours of it is you not really playing the game. It's you like mining a tree because you need to get carbon, or to mine a rock so you can dig copper so you can put it in a smelting machine where you have to mine more carbon to smelt the copper.
I take it you haven't got too far in the game yet, have you?
Story-wise, I can warp drive and stuff like that. I mean, honestly, I've gotten so lazy that I just buy all my shit at trading posts. I'm not gonna mine anything. Like,
you get to a point where you don't need to scan shit that often. You don't need to mine that often. You can just buy everything you need. You get your own goal that you want to start. Like, have you got a freighter yet?
Actually, I have a funny story about that. I was playing online with my buddy. I had the mission to go talk to a dude to get a freighter, and the mission bugged out, so I couldn't actually complete it. And then the freighter like despawned, and I fell through it, and I was just falling in space, and I died. That was it. Yeah, I was just like stuck. I also soft locked within 5 minutes of playing the game.
Soft locked?
Soft lock is like you're stuck and you can't do anything. Like okay, so I jump in a game, and I've had so many annoying issues with the game, especially when it comes to multiplayer. There are these really fucking weird things. This is kind of related, but not really. I jump in the game, spawn on a planet that's literally a flat plane. There's no hills, nothing, and it's super hot, and my ship is so far away that while I'm sprinting there, I die before I actually get to my plane.
Nice.
So I'm like, this is fucking bullshit, and I go and I make a new character, and then that was fine. Okay, I can actually get to my ship now and continue the game. So that was one like issue I had. It was like, dude, it was like 10 minutes of me dying and like sprinting and like running towards the ship, and like it was bullshit. So I made a new guy, continued the mission, bump into a trading dude. I don't know what he's saying, right? But I traded my weapon for his weapon, and all the modules are broken. So I can't put any like terrain manipulators. Mm-hmm. And then the next mission is to put this terrain manipulator onto my gun, so I can like get the copper to get the metals to do this. But I couldn't actually do that because and I can't fly off the planet, so I'm stuck on this mission. I can never get chromatics. So I had to like message my buddy on Steam to fly over to me and like give me like all these resources to repair my gun. You know what I mean? Like, it was in this really weird thing where I was just stuck at this one point, and I had to get my buddy to come help. I've had like a lot of really weird issues like that, but minus all the weird bugs, I find you don't like, you can stop and make a base and stuff. But, like, what's the point? You're gonna find a better planet with cooler shit at some point. You're gonna find a better gun with more slots on it and better, like, stats. You'll find a better ship with better stats. So it's, like, it's kind of tiresome, I guess. But, I mean, it's fun, I guess. Like, I'll still be playing it and whatnot.
Cool. Yeah. Good stuff. Do anything else exciting this week?
Not that I know of. What about you? What'd you do?
So I guess we can skip over all the other video games I'm playing, so we just had that talk there. RuneScape, I guess I'm in a similar situation as you, but not as much, where I got burnt out a little bit ago, where I wasn't grinding every second that I had where I wasn't grinding every minute that I had free on RuneScape, because before I had like all these goals I'm trying to hit, but I've slowed down a bit on them. and I'm kind of just making money to get a Dragon Warhammer. But I'm also doing AFKing skills on the side. Like I said, I'm doing fletching on my mobile at work, or if I don't feel like, if I just want to like watch Netflix and I don't want to play any games, I'll probably be doing fletching on Runescape. So I'm at 85 right now. You make a little bit of profit from that. Did a little bit of Zammy Boss to get the Greater Demons task to finish up. Nothing too exciting there. Did a little bit of raiding with some guys from the CC, which, it's fun. No uniques yet, though, so still working on that.
Yeah, you'll get there.
Yeah, hopefully. But besides that, I think that's basically my RuneScape week. Just been taking things slow until I kind of get motivated again to start sinking in all those hours that I have free into like grinding something. But
yeah,
it's like we've mentioned before. You're eventually going to hit a point where you start burning out, unless you're at Link's Titan and you can just spend like 18 hours a day every single day and not get burnt out. But most people will get burnt out after going towards a heavy goal. Yeah, sometimes you just need to take things slow, take a step back, and then eventually you'll get pulled back in, because every time we've tried to quit or anyone else tried to quit, something will pull you back in. Hell, we started this game, 2004 or 2003?
Yeah, sometime around there.
Yeah, and I made the big quit where I never thought I'd be coming back to the game back in 2007. And, well, here we are, talking about it every single week for like 2 hours. So it's going to be something that'll pull you back in. But with that being said, I think it's time to go over what has been going on for news and community scuttlebutt.
All right, so it is time to talk about the news. Not super eventful, I guess.
No, it was kind of a slower week, but we got some interesting things dropped on us, I guess.
We temporarily have tournament worlds open, so you can go around and mess around in there. You can set your stats whatever you want, grab whatever items you want, anything that you can do.
I love the tournament worlds. I think the day they got released, I went and spent like 4 hours doing that after work one day. I meant to just go mess around for a little bit, but I ended up just staying there the whole night. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. It'll be open for 2 weeks, so it'll close on Thursday, the 16th of August. So go around there, mess around, maybe kill some bosses, get some pets, and get really mad that you got on the tournament world.
Yeah, exactly.
All that good stuff. PK, have some fun, whatever.
They always say they want to revive the wilderness and bring in new people to start actually PKing. And you can see with these tournament worlds, this is the best way of doing it, because the what's it called? The Clan Wars portal to do your like 1v1s, it's always super packed, and there's tons of people there practicing their PKing, practicing their hybriding.
Yeah, my issue is that you find people like in full ancestrals and shit, like, like shit they never actually PK in, or like max strength just rushing you, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, you get a bit of that, and it kind of makes you go, what? Is this fun for you? Like, you're not gonna get anything. But you know what you do for that? You see someone who's rushing, pull out those fucking D claws and just 2-spec them out. It's awesome.
Yeah, dude. Give them those double D claws, the double Ds.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, moving on, they have some mobile enhancements.
Cool.
So they're rolling out single sign-on, which just allows you to click sign on and not have to enter in your username and password on your phone.
Uh-oh. Don't get your phone stolen.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Because not only are you going to be out of a phone, but you're going to be out of your whole inventory.
So if you have the authenticator active, you'll be asked or prompted to do a single sign-on. Yeah, it'll change the sign-on to play now and all that stuff.
Cool.
You can simply tap sign out, and you'll be asked for confirmation, and you can remove single sign-on like that. They make it really easy and convenient. You can also go to your account management settings on the website, and you can fiddle with the single sign-on there.
I fucking hate their website. It's like not bad on the PC, but if you're on mobile, the shit takes so long to load.
Yeah. So you can only end the mobile session through your computer, so if somebody does steal your phone, you can jump on the website, go to active sessions, and you can end mobile sessions like that.
Yep, so make sure if you're at work and one of your coworkers snags your phone, tell your boss you have to go, it's an emergency, drive home, jump on the computer.
Yeah, they've changed the sprite used for each function button on mobile. So they changed the keyboard tap to drop and single tap functions. That will be found on the bottom left, I believe.
Cool.
The option to toggle tapping through chat box has now been added to advanced options when selecting in the settings tab, on mobile. So that's nice. Sometimes chat does get in the way, and I don't like to have that shit minimized all the time. If I'm on mobile, I like to have it open.
Yeah, especially if you have it minimized, you keep getting the tabs turning blue,
Blinking.
like letting you know, blinking, letting you know you have some sort of notification, and yeah, that's just a little annoying.
Yeah. But that is pretty much it for now for the mobile. We have Theater Blood tweaks though. 3 little tweaks. Soda Sag, the projectiles will now be more consistent in the duration they disable protection prayers have been reduced. The Nilocast Vasilius will no longer be able to instantly attack players after switching combat. And Verzik Vitur, the attacks in her final form will now calculate damage as you get hit rather than when she fires her projectiles. I think most notably, that last one we just mentioned will make that Verzik much easier because you don't have to preemptively pray against her. You could do it just before she hits you.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah, that's good. And I know I said at the beginning of the show that these were hard to call tweaks. I actually must have missed this when I was looking over the dev blog earlier this week.
Yeah, no worries. In other news, some little quality of life stuff, but the teleport house and the tele tabs now have a right-click option for you to teleport inside and outside of your house.
All right.
So that's nice. They did some capitalizations and stuff. They fixed how some of the mammoths were spawning on top of trees in the wilderness.
They've been asked politely to stop doing that. Hopefully they listen.
The site of the tour can now slash webs.
Ooh, that's a
bit of an oversight.
That's going to shoot that price up.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, I guess Cook's Assistant, Sheep Shearers, and Imp Catchers, those quests, they recognize that you have the items when you start them, so you can finish them a lot quicker. So all those speedrunners,
Yeah, and they have some cheeky dialogue to go with it when you already have the items.
Yeah.
It's something stupid like, he'll tell you to get the items, your guy will say, oh, look at this, I have the items because I totally did not know I needed them beforehand. And it was all a coincidence. A little joke to all the guide readers, all the wiki readers.
Yeah.
Which is everybody.
Twitch Prime, that event's still going on until the 19th of September, so you have a long time to reap the rewards of that. Purple skin, that nice purple skin.
Oh, yeah. And it is a little bit confusing. Well, it's not confusing, but there's a few parts of it that are a bit confusing, where you go on the RuneScape website, you link your Twitch account to it, and then you go activate your Amazon Prime, and then you go to the Twitch site, not activate it, but you go to the Twitch site to get your Twitch Prime going. You have to click on the RuneScape part that tells you all the rewards, and it will say, click this link here to link your two accounts. You have to click that link again, even if you've already linked your accounts on the website.
Yeah, you have to link your RuneScape account to your Twitch, and then your Twitch to your RuneScape. You know what I mean? It's kind of weird.
Yeah, that's basically it. Yeah,
gotta do a little double.
And even if you don't want the purple skin, you do get 30 days free of membership. So it's worth doing if you do have Amazon Prime.
Yeah. You can also get a free month of Amazon Prime, so you pretty much get a free month of membership. Might as well save that $11.
Right. Just make sure you cancel your subscription, or you're going to be subscribed to it, and you'll check 6 months later when you're going through your credit card information and being like, I've been paying for this whole time. I didn't even realize. I don't even read comic books on my cell phone. Why the fuck am I paying $30 a month to read unlimited comic books on my freaking cell phone? Then you realize, oh yeah, that's right. I wanted to try the trial out because someone told me it was a great deal to get a free month's worth of comic books, and
yeah,
fucking got suckered into paying them like $100.
But anyways, sorry, someone almost crashed into someone else outside. Hopefully he doesn't hear that horn. Yeah, so we have the dev blog, Making Friends with My Arm.
Cool.
Yeah. The quest is an experienced level quest. Taking the much maligned? How do you say that? Probably butchering that.
I feel like we're reading two different dev blogs. I don't see what word you're looking at. Oh, maligned. Sure.
Yeah, maligned. Okay. So making friends with my arm is an experienced level quest, taking the much maligned character from my arm's big adventure and sending him on a whole new mission. Now venturing into the icy lands of the north to establish relations with the troll town of Weiss or Weiss.
Weiss. Yeah.
Weiss?
Yeah.
Players assisting him in this diplomatic foray will learn the troll technologies from Weiss that make the firemaking skill for the first time useful, offering buffs to skilling activities elsewhere in the world. So I think we speculated last week about what we'd actually get from these fires. So I'm assuming they just give you the option to get more supplies or more, resources, I guess. That's kind of what my guess is.
Yeah, we did say that they go through the rewards.
Oh, yeah, they do. Yeah. You'll have to handle my arm's ambitions to woo the troll maiden Snowflake and to kill the wise old man.
Ooh, why are they offing all the great characters in RuneScape?
We Game of Thrones now, baby.
Oh man, this is exciting. A little fun fact, when Mod Ash first started working for Jagex, it was his idea to make the wise old man character. For every quest that the wise old man is in, Mod Ash most likely did like 90% of that quest. Like Swan Song and the other quests with the wise old man.
Questcape?
What do you mean?
Isn't there like the diary? You gotta use the Questcape in his room?
Oh, yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm making a dumb joke. But yeah, so the requirements for the making friends with my arm, you have to complete my arm's big adventure, Swan Song, Cold War, Romeo and Juliet. Wow.
Ooh, wow, that's gonna prevent.
That's a big gate right there. I'm not doing this anymore.
Nope.
You need 66 fire making, 68 agility, 72 mining, 35 construction. You must not be afraid of nasty trolls. Knowing you're probably a nasty troll because you play RuneScape.
Yeah, that's true. But maybe they're talking about the top tier trolls. Like, you know how a bunch of us, we know of the website 4chan, but to go on there, that's really facing your phobias.
Fortunes?
Yeah, so maybe we're going to be facing some 4chaners in this quest.
Yeah, who is 4chan? That's what we'll find out.
Heard he's a pretty elite hacker.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see that level 72 mining is a requirement for this quest because it is an experienced quest, and before that, Dragon Slayer 2 was the next big one for mining, 68?
Yep.
And that's a Grandmaster, so...
Yeah, I don't think the level is kind of what gates. I think, you had to kill 2 decently hard bosses. I mean, Vorkath was easy. I mean, I had no issues with them, but... I did look up a video before fighting them both. I know people had a lot of trouble fighting Galvik and stuff in Vorkath.
Yeah, I think I died 8 times.
But yeah, so the rewards. On completing making friends with my arm, you'll gain access to a mine in which you can mine salts. These salts mined here can be used on special fire pits to make fires give benefits to you as long as you remain nearby. For example, one kind of fire could be used to slightly restore run energy.
Ooh.
To kindle the fire, you are required to burn logs, and with the type of logs you burn, dictating how long the fires burn for. So the salts are tradable, but using them requires the completion of the quest. And the completion of the quest will also yield a method of teleportation to the salt mine. The fire pits will require a tinderbox to be used, and upon your first use of the pit, you'll be able to store it within the fire pit itself. Okay. The individual appearance and status of the fire pits will be visible only to you. This means that only you will experience the benefits of a lit fire, similarly to a farming patch. A player who hasn't lit a fire in that pit will not see one, and will gain no benefit from another player lighting one.
Cool.
There are 3 types of salts, red, blue, and green. The higher fire making levels will allow you to access more fire pits, as different pits will unlock according to your fire making level. When burned in the fire pit, red salts will provide double run energy rate. The player's run energy will also not decrease while they're nearby.
Interesting. So, for red, I see there's one at Karamdra by Shiloh Village.
Yep.
There's one on Lunar Isle. And there's one by the Blood Altar on Zaya. So that's pretty interesting. Oh, there's one on Fossil Island as well.
Yep.
Interesting.
So Lunar Isle, I'm actually most interested in due to double astrals, runecrafting.
Yeah?
Yeah, I want to see what they show is that like there's just like a big fire pit. Like it's not like you're looking at like a bank symbol. It's like they have like a big image. So I guess the exact location hasn't been decided.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind seeing one of these by the ZMI altar too, because that one you have to remember to take a sip like after every 2 or 3 runs. It's kind of annoying.
Yeah. So my main worry, and I think a lot of people's main worries, are how this will affect EHP or like experience per hour for certain things. It's kind of weird that half? Yeah, I guess half of the energy pits are by runecrafting areas. I find with the blood rune thing, very rarely I run out of energy and I have my explorer's ring. So it's not something I would use, but I guess for people that don't train agility, they might run out a lot more often.
Yeah, and basically you run out of energy when you fuck up and you like misclick or something.
Yeah.
Besides that though, you normally get right back to the place where you mine the dark essence with like 5 run energy left.
Yeah, and by the time you're ready, you're all set. The one I'm mainly worried about is astrals. I want to know what it changes for in terms of like money and experience per hour, but also I guess not really. But the other one, wait a minute. The Shiloh Village one might be on the way to the nature altar. It could possibly be that.
It looks like it's sitting right on top of it, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and the one on Fossil Island seems to be for the herbivore area.
Oh, interesting.
I wonder how these will affect rates and money and all that good stuff.
Okay, well, I have a question then. Is it that big of a deal if this were to speed up experience for rune crafting for the astrals and nature runes?
Depends on how competitive it makes it with lavas, steams, and muds.
Like, it would probably help out very little. It would just... For nature runes, most of the time the person's running from their player-owned house, right?
Possibly, yeah.
I'm assuming.
People do use the Questcape method as well, if they don't have the POH stuff set up.
So I'm just wondering, if is it that big of a deal that all this is going to do is prevent you from having to remember to drink a sip of a stamina potion every, couple runs, every 2 minutes?
So what I'm thinking is that it's probably you don't want to spend that much. Like maybe it's nice for Iron Men or something. You don't want to have to waste stamina potions, and you can store a tinder box in here, but you have to bring salts and a log. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if this will actually increase the rates unless like you do like a redwood and now it lasts for an hour. That might be different, but you have to bring like a log, a salt, and then grab a tinder box out of the fire and then light it all. Or maybe you stack a bunch in. So it could very well be worse experience, but now you're not wasting all your staminas.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
There's like a lot of variables in this. The herbivore thing, I guess, is kind of nice because there's a lot of running around. I wonder how that affects it. But keep in mind also, some of these, they vary in fire making levels, right? Just because you have 68, you probably will need like maybe 90 for some of these. But yeah, I'm kind of interested on where this will lead you with these red cells. I was kind of honestly expecting them to be placed near like agility courses and stuff.
Most agility courses, you're not really running out of too much energy.
Nah. But I don't know. But yeah, I'm curious as to why there isn't one at ZMI as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they just want to buff other skilling rates. Maybe they notice too many people are using ZMI. I don't know, though. Only time will tell, I guess. But anyways,
there's a lot of people who do ZMI, though.
Yeah. Yeah, let's move on to the next one, I guess. So the blue salt will provide the player a place to sacrifice bones for increased experience. This rate would be doubled that is received for burying bones. So not as good as the altar, but it's a nice alternative, I guess.
Is it, though? Like, I looked at that one, and I can't entirely understand. The only thing I could see is if you're using a Bone Crusher, which is an item you get for diaries, and that automatically consumes bones when you kill a monster. And if you only have your hard diary done, you get half the experience. But if you have your elite diary done, you get the full experience for the bone. The only time I could see this being useful is if the fire pit stacks with your Bone Crusher.
Yeah.
A blue one by the Shazian house on Zaya. There's one on Yatso, so near Nietsnot. There's one by the Slayer Cave in Relica. There's one by the Barbarian Outpost. There is one near the Taverley Dungeon. There's one just above the Tai Bo One Eye village on Karamja. There's one by the Wyvern Cave.
Calphites.
Yeah, there's one by the Calphites. They don't drop bones, right? I can't remember if they do. I thought they didn't. Yeah, those are all the fire pits there. So I'm assuming, looking at this, I'm thinking they probably will stack with the Bone Crusher, because they'll buy a lot of, Slayer areas, like the Wyvern Cave. Half the time I just bring the bones to fill up inventory when I need to leave. But besides that, I'm leaving so many on the ground, or I'm burying them myself. In like Taverley Dungeon. So I'm assuming it's going to work underground too. All the blue dragons down there. And same with the Barbarian Outpost area. The Mithril Dragons.
Yeah, I'm not really too sure how this will go. So I'm assuming that, like, some of the places where they show the fire pits, I want to say that they, like, assume, or not assume, but they, like, imply, that it's, like, in the dungeon itself. Because there are some that just, like, hover right over the entrance.
Yeah.
It'd be really dumb to have them outside, like, the shanty pass. What would the use of, like, that's dumb. So I'm assuming it would be in, like, the Calphite Slayer area, but yeah, like...
And I'm wondering how big the radius of these are, because for the Wyvern one, if it's right at the entrance, are you going to have to run back and bury the bones before teleporting? Or can you bury them while you're killing the Wyverns and actually get the experience? Because if the radius is quite large, for the Shazian house, you might be able to... That might be there for the shamans.
Yep, and the Yatazo, you would do your troll tasks up there.
Yep.
Because you can kill those ice trolls, and that's, like, the best experience for the troll tasks.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
you could get crazy experience. So, if this stacks with the Mortania elites, that means you would just get double berry bone experience with the Bone Crusher in your inventory.
Yeah, and that's pretty good.
Yeah, so I want to test... Once this comes out, I really want to test it out. The thing is, dude, thank God I have 99 prayer banked, and I haven't actually, like, used it yet. Because I could just say fuck it and just, like, passively get it while I do Slayer.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
at a semi-reasonable rate. Instead of, like...
But, like, let's say it doesn't stack with the Bone Crusher. It seems... I don't know, I'm having trouble figuring out how often it'll be used.
I think you would have to use the Bone Crusher for the... I feel like this wouldn't be useful unless you have, like, unless you can use a Bone Crusher with it.
Yeah, or maybe you have a little bit of downtime to bury a couple bones in between kills.
Yeah.
I've seen some people speculate that it would be good for Iron Men, for them to gain experience, which I guess it is. But at the same time, you do have the Chaos Altar they could use. Because an Iron Man isn't able to use someone else's Gilded Altar. So if he's not able to make his own, he has to probably use the Chaos Altar.
Or, like, Port Phasmatis, the Actofunctus. It's slower, but you get more value out of each bone.
That's true.
So yeah, I don't know. I really wonder how this will work. But yeah, let's move on to the next one. So the green one is the next one we'll be talking about. So the green salt will provide the player with a boost to gathering resources. When the player is skilling within the range of the fire, there'll be a 1 out of 3 chance that the resource they receive are doubled. The effect only doubles designated resources. For example, Chinchampa's near Felda Pills would be doubled, but trees cut near the fire would not yield double the amount of logs. This would only affect the resource gathering rate and not the experience rate at all.
Interesting.
So I like this. Well, I do and I don't like this. So I like their answer for, I had a question like a long time ago where everyone was like making, a call to increasing resources, how much money you make and stuff, like skilling. And everyone on this, like, subreddits and stuff like that were saying, like, they're giving examples or ways to make this work that would ultimately benefit bots more than someone who's actually playing.
Yeah.
Because I mentioned in the past where if you're going to increase skilling, generally like a bot would benefit more because players are going to try and find the most AFK way to do something. Generally speaking. And so if it's something like bird's nests, how many bird's nests have you missed out in your life?
I don't know. I haven't done bird's nest myself, actually.
No, I mean like from like cutting a tree or something.
Oh, sorry, I was thinking birdhouses. Yeah, that's true. The only times I notice I have a bird's nest is probably like as soon as it despawns, I'll look over and, hey, I got a bird's. Where the fuck did it go?
Yeah. But bots will always get it. So that's kind of why I was really against the increase to resources, resource buff, I guess, like the amount you get or something. But this seems like a good solution where it's locked behind a quest that has pretty high requirements that you could, depending on the time limits, right, of the logs. Let's say you have like 20, 30 minutes with like redwood. You know, that's still good for the average player to just like, okay, every 30 minutes I go do that, or like every hour, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The Chinchompas are really interesting. I really like that idea. The issue is gold farmers, obviously, but it is a bigger gate. But, you know, I think it's been proven that most Chinchompa bots, parentheses or air quotes, are actually like gold farmers.
Yeah.
I think Jagex even acknowledged that it wasn't people straight up botting, it was people just making money. But yeah, I don't know, very interesting to see. And I do like how it targets one resource too.
I'm wondering how you're going to know. If you just click examine, it'll be like, this is what it's for. They have 3 of the green fire pits at the Hasidius house on Zea. One of them is by, I guess, the sand crab area. One of them is by the woodcutting guild, just south of it. And one is just a little bit north of the vinery. I'm not exactly sure what's there. Maybe it's for the vines. If you're if you're farming grapes.
There's a fishing node there. I don't know what you can fish from there, but this kind of makes me think that the radius is much bigger than we expect.
Yeah.
Or they target specific, I don't know. I find Hasidius has really weird positions because they're all decently close. You use a skills necklace to get to one quickly. You use your glade teleport on your necklace to get to another one quickly, or I guess get to the other two. I wonder what they'll affect though, because they seem to be in silly spots.
Yeah, it's hard to say. There's one at Eagles Peak. There's one right south of the agility training area for the Tree Gnome Stronghold. There's one by the classic Sears Magic Trees, which is very close to the Legends Guild. There's one by Fedlip Hills.
There's one at the Bergdraut Sharks.
Yeah, okay.
There's one in the middle of the wilderness at those, I think it's Black Chins.
Yeah, that's the Black Chins there.
And one at the very top of the wilderness.
Ooh, at the resource area.
So, yeah, interesting spots, I guess.
Yeah, it seems like they're trying to get people to kind of, you don't really see any too close to the Fishing Guild, although the one near the Legends Guild is kind of close, so it depends on the radius. But let's say if it doesn't affect the Fishing Guild, maybe people will go to Bergdraut to start fishing there.
But yeah, there's also unique braziers, which require building before they can be built, and then they're lit permanently. For example, the brazier on the approach to the God Wars dungeon requires 10 steel bars, 5 mahogany planks, a tinder box, and 250 of each salt. These braziers, when lit, would have the effects that would improve the area where they are. So the God Wars dungeon entrance, that one would mitigate the chilling effect of the weather around there.
Oh, not bad. That's interesting, because it's a pain in the ass going to God Wars, and then you have no run energy once you actually get into the dungeon.
Pro tip, there is a way right now you can kind of get around it.
How's that?
So there's when you're entering that area, there's the rock, and then there's the cave.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, how does it work? It's been so long since I've done it. You enter the cave, and then you spam click so your waypoint is set towards the rope, and then you go to your skills and you open up, you just click attack, and that will be open, and that prevents you if you do it correctly, you can run there without getting hit by the chilling effects.
God, what the hell is wrong with this game?
Yeah, I'm surprised I haven't told you that, yeah. Someone told me about that, like, a while ago, and...
I know people do that with, like, their hardcore Iron Man if they're poisoned and they're gonna die. Maybe not their hardcore... Is it the hardcore Iron Man?
Yeah, probably.
I don't know, but... Yes, I know there are some janky things.
Yeah, you can stall out certain things, yeah.
So we do have that God Wars Dungeon Brazier. There's also one by the Lumbridge Swamp, which that one will allow you not to have to use a fire source or a light source when going into the Lumbridge Swamp Cave.
Yeah.
So that's okay. I don't think many people are actually going there, especially if they have this quest done. I don't know why you would, but
yeah, I'm not really too sure. But so, like, if you're thinking the whole God Wars dungeon, that might be a bit OP. Just keep in mind, as of right now, you can easily do it so you don't take any damage from the effects.
Yeah, it just causes you to break the game. Is that bug? That's bug abuse, isn't it?
Yeah, but what are you gonna do? How are you gonna get caught for that, right?
Just don't stream it.
I kind of outed myself, but
Deegan's banned.
Yeah, fight me, Jed.
So yeah, just the two of those gray braziers, which is, I guess, I don't know. I figured there'd be a little bit more. Maybe these are just some ideas, and maybe we'll vote on it, and they'll release like 100 more of these fire pits that we. Yeah,
next thing you know, there's a gray one in Lumbridge that like makes you have infinite run energy, and they fucked up. But yeah, so they released a model from which I assume is the boss. At the bottom, there's like a really cool ice troll walking.
Yeah,
he got that dad bod going.
Oh, that's for sure. Yeah,
but yeah, pretty interesting. I'm kind of curious as to how this will work. They do say that if this does pass, these images they placed are just placeholders, and
it is interesting. So there's two things I want to bring up. It is interesting to see that these rewards, they seem decent, maybe a little underwhelming, if anything. I don't know. How do you feel about these rewards?
In my opinion, I like this idea of a reward more than, like, let's say, I don't know, in Monkey Madness 2, where it's like experience. Like, you're doing Monkey Madness 2 for, like, Zenyte shards. Okay, that's a bad example, but I just like quest rewards that, like, do a, like, noticeable change to, like, how you can interact with the world in general.
I guess the question is, how noticeable of a change will this reward actually be?
So I feel like this will really benefit people that have specific goals. Like, it won't, I mean, that's a really stupid statement, but I mean, like, it'll benefit, like, someone who really wants to hunt red chins over, like, someone who doesn't want to hunt. Or, you know what I mean? Like, it could be the push to make someone want to go and hunt black chins or something, right? Or go for the herbivore pet. Like, there are some things that I could see it being like, do this quest, you're going to need it. Like, imagine getting 2 black chins to give to a PKer instead of 1.
I think the problem is that Jagex is constantly walking this tightrope where on one end it's people who want a very useful reward from completing a quest to make it actually worthwhile to complete it, because nobody cares about the lore. But on the other side, then you have people who don't want a reward to be too useful because they don't want all of the effort they put into gaining experience to be minimized, I guess.
If I spend 100 hours and then they make it so you can spend 1 hour getting something, I'll be fucking pissed. And it's not so much of, I want you to spend 100 hours, it's that I wasted 99 hours. That's what the underlying argument is.
Yeah, a little bit of an exaggerated example, but yeah, essentially that's the problem with it. So the thing is, we see this and we see it being pretty useful, but then you have to think, are they going to put them in there and make the radius pretty small because they want them to be, have very niche uses? They want those blue fire pits to only be used for Iron Men who don't want to go to the wilderness. If you have to run back to the thing and then bury your bones right next to it, you're going to be, well, what the fuck? That's going to be basically dead content until you see some YouTube video of some Iron Man progress video of the guy doing that. And you're going to go, oh, I never even knew you could do that. I didn't know that's what those were there for.
Yeah.
Or if the resource gathering ones, what if they're like super specific to things where, yeah, the chins are good, magic trees are good, but what if some are a place where you're like, no one's ever gonna fucking use that?
Like the Bergdorf one, that raised a lot of questions because minnows?
Yeah.
Aren't minnows a thing? Wasn't that put in to generate more, sharks?
Yeah.
Maybe it's not AFK enough. So, like, this does raise a lot of questions. Some of the placements are like, well, why wouldn't you just, like, why is there not a, like, run energy one at the elf camp or something?
Or the desert, or maybe somewhere in the wilderness even.
Yeah, exactly. Put one in between Callisto and Venenatis. That would be interesting. Depending on the radius, like, you're gonna run, you're PKing, or you have to run from PKers.
Or Mauritania, where it's like a maze walking through the swamps there.
Mire Ditch, well, I guess Mire Ditch is just parkour. But, like, yeah, they could do some interesting placements, I guess I should say. And they kind of feels a bit lazy, if I'm being honest. Like, skilling, chins. I don't know, resource arena. What would that be? Fishing, I guess? Hey, one's near, it's either magic trees or, like, what? Fishing?
Yeah, is it going to work for a handful of different items, or is each one going to be for one specific skilling resource?
Yeah.
You go to the resource area in the wilderness, what if it only does it for, like, mining?
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of everything in that spot. That's the thing, though. Part of it's either laziness, or they're worried that if they put too many in different spots, if they put one in the elf area, then suddenly you're going to have some of the high-level skilling community. They're going to go, what the fuck? This is like Easyscape. I've had to, manage my run energy for like 10 years going through the elf area. Now suddenly some nooblet can just light a fire and he can run through it.
Yeah.
That's the problem that's the problem with having things pulled, is that they gotta make it so not too bad, because then it's gonna have people being like, devalued my skilling. But if it's too bad, people are gonna be like, no, waste of fucking time to even have these.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like with the Grey Braziers, I think I already said this, but there's a lot more of there's a lot of other ideas you could do with them, and to have only two, it's a little lackluster. You could have one in the Mauritania swamps. Maybe it prevents the ghouls from attacking you and taking your food. Yeah, we'll have to see. But the other thing that I want to bring up, so they mentioned how there's going to be a teleport after completing the quest that will bring you right to the salt mines. Do you think that's appropriate? Where, of course, nobody wants to walk to wherever the salt mines are. But there's this trend where every new quest and new area that's out, the quest gives you a direct teleport to it. We have so many fucking teleports in this game that I don't think I've actually walked into a spot in so long.
Yep.
Like, if I need to get somewhere in the elf area, I'll take the elf scroll and I'll teleport to the elf camp. If, I don't need to actually go there, I'll use my crystal teleport and go to Lilietta, which is on, like, the mid-eastern side. And if I'm like, I don't need to go there, I need to go to like the southwest side, I'll teleport to Sears Village. I'll run down, take the boat to Port Tyraz. Maybe I'll take the ferry ring to the Zulra area.
Theater of Blood, there's a direct teleport. Fossil Island, there's a direct teleport.
There's 2 or 3 of them. To get to the dragon, the rune and adamant dragons, you got a teleport that brings you right into their area.
Yeah, I do find it weird. I guess nobody likes to walk.
Which is fair. But I feel like it takes away from the actual experience, I guess.
Yeah. Do they tell you where I want to keep calling them smelling salts for some reason.
the salt cave?
Yeah. Do you know where this will be located? Did they tell us where?
I'm guessing in that black box right above the troll area.
True. Yeah, no, that's a really good point.
If we didn't mention it yet, they want to fill in that black area that's kind of west of the wilderness and north of the troll area.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. It is annoying to have to walk to something. Low levels are going to have to do a lot of walking until you're able to teleport around. I don't know. It just makes me wonder that. Is this a healthy trend for the game where every time we get an update to some new content, some new piece of land, that we have to have like 6 different teleports just to get to that area?
So here's my question. Is it, what's worse? Is it having 10 teleports, or the fact that we have 10 teleports and 8 of them are all different teleporting methods?
Oh, I mean, it gets super confusing.
Like, if you look at your teleport tab or your jewelry tab, like, I think everyone's like has one at this point if you're organizing your bank. It is like, it's big. Like, there's so many different ways to teleport in this game, so many different quest-specific teleport systems that, like, it's a nuisance that, like, if you go and do a farm run, you're bringing, like, I guess you're bringing a bunch of teleport tabs, but, like, you're bringing a necklace, you're bringing an ectofile, you're bringing tabs, you're bringing, you know what I mean? Like, you're bringing
diary armor.
Exactly, right? You're bringing 3 or 4 different, like, methods to get around where, why do we, like, what is it going to be? Like a salt rock that you lick and you teleport? Why don't they just put, like, a goblin glider, a gnome glider?
Yeah, maybe.
Well, like, why don't they just start, like, normalizing it? I'm not saying, like, a load system like RS3, but, like, why don't they just, like, I don't want to have to carry, like, 18 different teleports when I want to go, like, do a farm run, or, like, hey, I'm gonna go hunt some chins. Let me bring a teleport scroll, a dueling ring, this and that, and, like, 6 different teleports just to quickly do it. Like, it's weird.
One of my issues with all the teleportings that we have, where it's super nice to be able to get to wherever you need to go really easily, but half the time, especially if it's an area I'm not too familiar with, I basically will have just the wiki open, and then you go through all of the modes of transportation. You know, you got your spell teleports, you got your teleport scrolls, you got the fairy rings, you got the gnome gliders, you got your amulets, and then there's the quest items, which you can throw some of the quest amulets in there as well. You also have, you know, your minigame teleports. You have the boating system with the charter ships and all that jazz.
You have the log boating system as well.
Yeah, you got the canoe. You have... Is that what you're talking about?
Yep.
Okay. And then you also, you have the mine carts. And I guarantee you I'm forgetting some.
Yeah, gliders, the trees, spirit trees. Like, there's so many that, like, we're probably missing, like, a good majority of them still. And it's kind of obnoxious to add, like, another one for one use. I would like to see, a fairy ring, maybe even, or just, like, a glider. Have a glider up there.
Well, I do like the glider. What about canoes? What if there's, like, some underwater river? You know, you add another canoe.
It's funny you say it, because I think the stream at the edge, doesn't it go into, like, a little hole?
Yeah, you go into a little cave and you pop out by the black chins. So you could have another one that brought you there.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be kind of cool.
There's a train system.
Yep. Yeah, I forgot about that. The Dorgishan train system.
And if I'm not mistaken, you actually have to sit on the train and wait to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Now, okay, I'm going to go on a little tangent right now, but... So we have our instant teleports. Lots of other games, and I know that you've played a ton of them that have it, but some other MMORPGs have a system where you have, like, you have a train, and you go on the train, and sometimes the train's not at the station, so you gotta wait for this train to show up, walk on the train, and then you gotta wait 5 minutes for it to take off and go to your destination. How do you feel about those types of transportation in a game?
I personally don't mind it. I feel like a lot of people do, but I feel like if they were to add something like that, where, like, I feel like for RuneScape, it's a bit too late to add that as, like, a major form of transportation.
Yeah, I mean, it would be hard. I think back, and I have a lot of cool memories of some of those games where you're having to wait. But the thing is, normally you have a bunch of people waiting with you, and it's kind of adds to the immersion that you have to wait for this air glider to show up, and then you got to take the glider back, or a train or something, and you got to sit there and wait. Yeah, it's annoying to have to wait 5 minutes or something to get to the place you need to go, and it's not instant. But at the same time, something about it is just kind of cool. It's a bit nostalgic. Like, I think back to, you know, the game we love to reference, World of Warcraft. It has those air glider balloon thingies.
Yeah, even like MapleStory back in the day.
I was going to say MapleStory, where you had to wait an hour sometimes because it took like half an hour for it to get to its destination, and then it had to come back. And there was like a 15-minute in between where it's waiting to load up people.
Yeah.
But part of that was kind of cool, where you're waiting, and there's usually a bunch of people there with you, and you normally just talking to them.
So I feel like it'd be cool to have something like that, but I feel like RuneScape has gone too far, that adding that is just like detrimental, where if you had like where like there's always going to be a faster way, you know? Even if you're at like Sulfanum to the top of the the top of the wilderness, there are so many teleports that bring you from one area to another, like the Arty Edge Wilderness Lever, that trifecta like brings you to like every corner of like the main land. Just, you know what I mean? In 30 seconds, you can go from Edgeville to the wilderness and then to Arty and then back again, like, you know?
Yeah, true.
So I feel like that kind of a system is too far gone. Now, if you look at the world map, there's a huge chunk at the bottom left map. If they ever make a new continent, maybe they could have a system like that could get, that's the only way to get there.
That's a cool idea.
To take like a cruise ship or something.
Yeah, if you pay attention to the lore, and I believe this is what it's going to be for, is there's a whole nother continent below Zaya, and it's another part of land, and that's supposed to be like, I want to say faction or country, cities, but they're basically rivals to the Great Korend, the Zaya cities.
Yeah.
So eventually they want to bring that, and then there's supposed to be like a citadel there, one of the biggest. It's supposed to be like a new duel arena. Maybe arenas, who knows? Maybe we'll have like what they do with Tournament Worlds, but it's going to be in a ranked arena. Knowing Jagex, it'll be fucking a sign you look at, and it'll tell you who the best people were of the week for each different world.
Yeah.
So no one even gives a shit about doing ranked. Yeah, I don't know. Seeing the teleport just got me thinking that, you know, with the last Theater of Blood quest,
I mean, it's definitely a good worry when 50 of my 1,000 bank slots are teleports, maybe even like 70, depending on if you want to have one of each charge to keep it organized, maybe even more.
I'd say even more because of all the things you have that you don't think about, like the diary equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah, the obscure items, you know, the teleport crystals for the elf place, the Zaya, the book, that book you get for a quest that allows you to teleport.
Uh-huh.
Christ, what else is there, right? Anyways, got anything else for us for the news this week?
No, that's it. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Let's move on to some community talk. Community gossip, I suppose. Even though it's not really gossip. So, since the new items that got released for the Revenant Caves, there's been an interesting sort of lure. I was going to say new lure, but it's not really a new one. Nothing changed in the game that suddenly this can work where it never worked before. But this is just something that happened because of the new items and the price they were stuck at. So a few YouTubers have made videos on this already, so you might already be aware of it, but when the new items were first released, they were basically capped for GE value at 10 mil. Even though they were worth far more than that, you know, they're worth in like hundreds of mil, but, you know, Jagex left it at 10 mil just to let it kind of work its way up. Unfortunately, I believe it can only go up and down in price by 5% every day. Am I right about that? Am I wrong?
Something like that. But yeah, the way the prices can fluctuate, like it's gated.
Yeah, so you can't have a clan or whatever hard manipulate it in one day.
Yeah.
Anyways, since these new items were capped at about a 10 mil Grand Exchange value, but they were worth 100 mil, what people were doing is they would go PK, basically they'd go with the intentions to PK at the Revenant Caves. They'd see someone with a crossbow, which is worth 200 mil, 300 mil, but since the value was only 10 mil, they would go near them and basically either trade them or they would drop them. They would drop some items on the ground in hopes that they would pick them up. So these could be, you know, uncharged trident staffs, a stack of them worth more than 10 mil. A lot of people were using dragon plate bodies and dragon plate legs. So you'd see one drop, and you'd see it's worth like 40 mil, 30 mil. Most people would get excited, and they would pick that item up. Well, what would happen then is they would then PK you, and you're most likely going to be dropping your Revenant unique item. So whether it's the Vigorous Chain Mace, or the crossbow, or the staff, even though the staff was always going for a little bit less than the other two. But anyways, yeah, so you would pick up an item worth 40 mil, and then you would get killed, and you would drop the 10 mil GE valued item, even though it was actually being traded for 300 mil. So then you would lose like hundreds of mil worth of money because of that. So eventually, some people figured that this scam was going on, and when they would see these items get dropped, or they get them traded, they would instantly put them in the looting bag, because when you die, you'll drop everything in your looting bag regardless. Well, some people were actually using the Dragon Spear special to delay them being able to actually put the items into their looting bag in hopes to kill them. So a lot of people made out with a lot of money from doing this type of lure. A lot of people lost a lot of money. So Jagex came in and they brought the value of all the items up to, I believe it was 100 mil. But there was about a week in between Jagex tweaking the actual price worth.
Yeah, and it took a YouTuber getting lured for that to, really...
I guess that's what showed Jagex the issue with it.
Yeah, our friend got lured by it. He had a video explaining what happened. And then Jagex was like, oh, now we got to do something about it. So, yeah. I guess they kind of did something, but they really need to... okay, hold on. Do you think that this is, on Jagex's fault? Or do you think it's just something that will happen in the game? Do you think it's, controversial at all that this was going on?
I don't know if I would say controversial. I'm bringing it up because it was interesting.
Yeah.
Do I think people should get banned for it? I don't think there's really any way you can fully prevent this. It's just too much to have to keep your eyes out for. Because there's all these different unique ways people are scamming and doing these types of lures. Even though I don't know if I consider this a lure.
Because they're risking quite a bit to have this work. They're going, if you're dropping, 4 dragon plate bodies, noted, you're gonna be, that's, a big risk for it to maybe, not work out. And I've seen it where there's clips on YouTube, or I guess on YouTube, but on the Reddit of, someone trying to scam a dude with a crossbow, and someone else being able to snag the item. Random person that has, a blowpipe. Alright, fucking kill me. I just made bank off you guys. There is some big risk. Do you think, I don't know how to phrase this besides saying the word controversial, but do you think that this is what's the word I'm looking for? Only thing I think of is controversial. Do you think Jagex should be on their tippy toes, ready to change the price of the GE every time it gets bought and sold for the first couple days? The main reason why they have their current system in place is to prevent intense day one price manipulation.
Yeah.
I guess the bad part of it is that these lures are able to go down, but they're pretty interesting. If I got hit with a lure like that, the whole thing is that they drop an item, you pick it up, they kill you, and now you lose your big item. And it's I don't know. I think it's interesting because if you get lured, it's because you're being greedy and you don't realize what's going on. Yeah. But even then,
who's not gonna pick up the dragon plate legs?
Well, the plate legs don't really work. It's you mean plate body, right?
Yeah, plate bodies. Let's see somebody drops the plate bodies. Nobody's going to go, that's probably a scam. I'm not going to touch them. Every one of us are going to go, holy fuck, dragon plate bodies. They click them, and you get killed, and you go, shit.
That's smart. Fuck. Yeah, he got me. A lot of it is that, but this type of allure has been a thing for a while.
Yeah, since the beginning of time.
Yeah. And it's funny that, 28 Bill was lured in 5 days by a team doing this.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Crazy.
So Jagex has tried to prevent these things from happening in the past. Originally, when you died, the items that you dropped were dependent on what their stats were, which caused a lot of lures like this to go down in the past, where maybe it's not stats, maybe I'm getting that wrong, but it's their inherent value.
Elk value?
I don't even know if I'd say elk value. But anyways, what happened all the time in the past, well, not all the time, but enough, people would find somebody with a rare item, and back in the day, those were all your holiday items, your party hats, your Santa hats, Halloween masks. They would bring them to the wilderness, and then somebody would drop 10k on the ground in the wilderness. Now 10k, the stack of 10k looks the same as a stack of 100 mil. So they would probably say, hey, here's 100 mil on the ground, go pick it up, it's all yours, whatever, you won this YouTube giveaway, go pick it up. So the person would jump over and grab it. It'd only be 10K, and then they would get PK'd by people who are hiding. And since the value of gold coins in the game was worth more than the party hat, you would drop the party hat and you'd keep 3 gold, even though the party hat is worth hundreds of mil. And this would happen with Robin hats, which were worth like 3 mil, but didn't have the best stats. But because they were wearable for a 1 defense pure, they had a high trade value. You could get lure for those, bunch of items like that. Eventually, they changed it so the items you dropped you'd keep your 3 highest valued items pertaining to the Grand Exchange. And since that is how they have it now, to prevent some of those other scams from happening, we have these new ones that pop up.
Yeah.
So maybe 10 mil is a little bit low for first day item, but at the same time, I don't know what the consequences would be if they put it at 1 bill, but the items were only being traded for 100 mil. Well, the issue I guess was people would be losing tons of money because they'd be sniping out the buy orders for 1 bill, even though the items are mostly being traded at 100 mil.
Yeah. And the main thing is that this, like, people, like, this main lure is, like, you shouldn't be bringing in a crossbow to the Revenant Caves if you're not willing to lose it. Okay, yeah, you're not going to skull up, but hey, we found a way to make it so you're going to lose it.
Yeah, I guess it boils down to, if you're in the wilderness, only bring the items that you'd be okay if you lost.
Yeah, if there's a will, there's a way. There's always going to be a way for you to lose your shit.
I guess it just turns to, like, the culture of people and in old school RuneScape and when it comes to the wilderness, where people want to be able to go in with certain items and feel safe.
Yep.
When it really wasn't like that for the longest time.
And I don't ever think it truly will. I think if they ever have, like, this happen again, like Rev Caves 3.0 or something, people will find a way to, like, lure the big items that are in there.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, again, just boils down to, yeah, it's a wilderness item, but if you don't have the money to be okay with losing it, then maybe it's not an item for you right now. Wait for it to drop down in price a little bit more. Anyways, moving on from that, I had seen, I think it might have been a post or a video on YouTube. Unfortunately, I can't actually find the link. But anyways, what it boiled down to was the future of some of the rare items in old school RuneScape. So we don't have the holiday items being rare items anymore. They're worth like 10k each. It's really not much. Whereas RuneScape 3, they're worth 2 bill for like the cheapest holiday item. And it's because they're discontinued. And there's no other way of getting them. Well, with old school RuneScape, our rare items come in the form of being super hard to obtain, and also maybe not a large amount of people are actually farming those items. So Third Age is the one big one. Some of those items are worth hundreds of mil, some are worth close to 1 bill, yet they're not very good stat-wise, and the big reason why they're worth so much is they're cool, it's kind of a statement if you have one and you're wearing it, but also that not many people are grinding out hard clue scrolls as somebody is like grinding out Chambers of Xeric to get some of those rare items. The video or post that I had seen was talking about how some of those items may drop down in price in the future by maybe a large portion of what they're currently worth. And that's because right now, a lot of people who have stacks of these items are stakers. Stakers, you know, people who constantly staking in the duel arena, you either have no money because you got cleaned out, or you have billions and billions worth of gold, right?
Yeah.
So what people end up doing is, you know, you hit your 2.4 bill cash stack, and then you max out at that. So you can't get any more cash from that. Instead, people can put into platinum coins so they can hold like another, 20 bill? And the other option is to put them in for items. Before we had the platinum tokens, a lot of people were buying in Elysian Spirit Shields and, you know, any item that's worth like a large amount. So their banks would have, you know, max cash, and then you'd have like hundreds, let's just say hundreds of bill worth of these other items that you're not using them. You only have them to store your wealth into them, and you know they won't be dropping down in price, not too fast at least. If they start going down in price, you'll see it, and you'll be able to sell them before they drop too low right?
Yeah.
So with the integrity changes being proposed and some of them being put in a couple months ago, we heard about, and I don't think this has been put in place yet. I went back to looked at some of the dev blogs for when these integrity changes actually came out, and I couldn't see it that this change actually happened. But they've talked about how in the dueling arena, in the future, you will not be able to stake items. You'll only be able to stake cash. And this is to prevent some people from like scamming with items. You know, you'll find an item that says it's worth more than it actually is. So they'll put that up to stake, and, you know, they're not risking as much. Well, with the change where you can't stake items anymore, this is going to cause stakers who are holding all of these high-valued items, they're going to need to sell them now to get their money when they're staking. They're not going to be able to just stake straight third age longswords anymore. They're going to need to sell it first, which has the chance of causing these items to kind of crash down in price.
So I've watched like a lot of staking streams and stuff, and streamers that stake, and I've never seen them with a collection of third age. Maybe like the real big stakers don't have. I mean, those are the guys hoarding third age. But I know the YouTube you're talking about, and he had like another video that I really disagreed with, and I remember watching this earlier this week, and there was like a lot of points I had that I disagreed with. Some things like third age mage, isn't that like really good mage armor?
I think it's okay. Like it's good, but you know, compared to Arams and especially Ancestral.
So it does have the highest accuracy bonus.
Oh, interesting.
And it is like pretty decent. I mean, it's really expensive, right? 250 mil or something for a set. But like, I don't know. There's something about, I don't think like third age will like crash super hard because you can't like stake it anymore.
Well, I think it's going to cause just from not many people are actually buying these items because nobody's training with them. And with with stakers who might have some of these items, if they decide to sell them, it's just going to it will cause the price to go down if they're the ones that have a large portion of them, right?
Yeah, I mean, if they decide to panic sell, I mean, in general, if you have like someone with the majority share of something panic selling, it'll cause it to drop. I mean, it's highly possible. You know, it's definitely possible for it to crash, but I don't know. I don't know if, like, I don't know. Maybe it's possible. Maybe it's not. I'm not really too sure. Cause like I said, I can't think of any stream I've ever seen with like someone having a big stack of like third age or like collecting third age stuff.
Yeah, there might be other items that they're going with instead.
Well, they'll tend to go for like T-bows and then plat tokens and stuff. They'll use those because it's a better item to stock up on. For all we know, most of third age items are like already out and about, just being passed around by collectors and stuff. If you're gonna stock up on an item, you're way better off having a T-bow because T-bows actually have value in terms of like how good it is.
Yeah, and
it's a bill. Only there's like the Scythe of Vautour and like a third age longsword are like worth more than a T-bow, and that's it.
The third age longsword's about $1 bill.
If you gotta buy those in the forum because it's more than the cash stack.
Oh, okay. Well, I was gonna say, looking at the Grand Exchange charts, a lot of them seem to have been dropping in price since May. Now, it's not like huge. They're big drops, but percentage-wise, maybe not so much. But, you know, you look at third age plate body, 77 mil on May 7th, and it's gone up a little bit every now and then, but it's currently sitting at 55 mil. So that's a 20 mil drop in a couple months, and that's around the time the integrity changes got kind of proposed. Again, panic selling maybe. You know, the third age longsword, beginning of May at 1.1 bill, and it's currently at 1.1 billion 28 mil. So it's gone down 100 mil.
Yeah, well, like I said, the longsword is typically traded on the forums.
Yeah. Third age axe, it was 600 mil at the beginning of May. It's now at 530 mil.
So yeah, I mean, it's very possible that they can crash, but people will always buy them. 1, to collect them. 2, Fashion Escape. 3, it's not always a bad idea, depending on, like, you know, to use them for whatever. Like, sometimes they're actually, like, they could be good, but obviously not worth the value. But if you have, like, a lot of money.
Yeah.
And you can't wear Ancestral for some reason, maybe defense level. I don't really know. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's something that like we just have to see. And like, is it bad that third age is going down?
Personally, I don't think so. It's. I mean, the armor doesn't look that cool. It's cool looking armor, but it's not that cool looking, right? Not to justify the price of what they're at. It's basically a fashion statement. Most people who are going to gawk at you for wearing it, they know what the item is. You're not going to have many people being like, whoa, what is that? Well, I mean, some of it does look kind of cool, but yeah, most of it is just something that stands out. You know, you see someone woodcutting with a third age axe, it doesn't look 500 mil worth for cosmetic, right? But people see it and they're like, why don't you have a dragon axe? Why do you have this white looking axe?
I've only ever seen a third age pickaxe once, and it was an Iron Man using it in a raid we were doing.
Wow, that's sick.
Yeah, but like you don't really see people using them.
No.
But yeah, like I don't really know. I guess only time will tell. And like if third age goes down, it'll probably go back up again. Like it'll just probably fluctuate. People will find other uses for it.
Yeah, that is true. When it becomes more available to a larger portion of the community, it'll cause more people to buy it, right? Just to say they have it.
Yep.
Anyways, moving on to the last section of community news / gossip. This is going back over to the RuneScape 3 side. I feel like we've been talking a lot about RuneScape 3 these past couple months, but
yeah,
there's some interesting stuff going on there, and since we're tied so close to them, you want to keep an eye out on them a little bit. So I saw a few posts the other day on Reddit, on the RuneScape Reddit, and basically it seems like within the Jagex HQ, some of the top bosses have told or asked the RuneScape devs that they cannot work on their TAPP work anymore. So TAPP stands for Thursday All Day Personal Projects. I believe it's on a Friday, actually, not Thursdays, but they don't want to call it FAP for obvious reasons. They don't want to say, hey, every Friday is FAP time for our coworkers. So they call it Thursday instead, and basically that means every Thursday you can work on some side project that you have decided you want to put into the game yourself, something that you might think is a good idea, and it gets the thumbs up from everybody, so you can go ahead and work on it. We saw it on Oldschool RuneScape with Revenant Caves, with Mage Arena 2. We saw it with Byrofita, the Moss Giant boss. A lot of things like that, where it's like not that big of it's not a huge job to put it into the game, but someone cracks away at it, and everyone likes it, so they vote yes on it, and we get it into the game. But basically, the top boss at Jagex HQ said that, yeah, you can't spend company time working on these projects. Instead, you have to focus on actual scheduled content. And if you want to do your TAPP time, tap time, you will need to do it on your own time. So that right there is going to cause a lot of these projects to be stopped being made because you're basically being asked to work for free. And it seems to be a pretty big deal for RuneScape 3. Because a lot of their content that they've got, some of their really good content, came out as a personal project from one of the JMods. Solok, that boss that we had talked about before, started off as just a side project. And then it came out as to the new endgame boss for RuneScape 3. But yeah, it seems that those personal projects might be coming to an end for RuneScape 3. Which sucks for them, and I hope that doesn't bleed on to Oldschool RuneScape, because we do see a lot of cool stuff, come from it. But now that the new teams have been kind of separated on the Oldschool RuneScape team, that you got all these all these smaller groups working on things, it is a possibility that might bleed over to this side of things as well.
They didn't so if they lose they pretty much lose their tab time. Do you think a possibility could be that people were just wasting time?
That could be it. That's possible.
Like, what did you do for this hour? Nothing. I couldn't really. I've just been playing with some ideas. And you say that for 2 years straight, where nothing ever comes of that 1 hour or whatever, that tap time that you get. I could see a lot of people just, hey, I'm gonna go take a dump. Maybe go get some food. You know what I mean? I'm just not gonna do anything. 'Cause it's It's free time for me.
Yeah, I don't know how like the politics works for the actual company, but for school, I had that for class sometimes. They'd put one day where they're just like, this afternoon, kids, you guys can work on any homework you guys have. You guys, it's a free class to do any work you want.
Teacher has a hangover. Free time.
Yeah, basically. How often did you just dick around for the last half of that day?
Yeah, exactly.
Group up with some people and you say, yeah, we're working together on math. But you're just fucking around. No one's actually doing anything. So it's a possibility that was what was happening. Especially if you could leave the office. Yeah, we're going to go to the pub. We're just going to have some beer and we're going to talk over this project we got going on. And they just never show back up. So that could be why they did that too. But at the same time, it did give the JMods some freedom to kind of, use their creativity and maybe do something outside the box instead of having 10, so you don't have to have a meeting with 10 different people all being like, no, that doesn't have enough microtransactions or something, right? You don't have all these other people's opinions being like, nope, that's not going to happen. You had the freedom to make it however you envisioned that project was how you could do it.
I feel like RS3 because it's more like, what's the word? Corporate?
Yeah, it's a lot bigger team.
Yeah, it's a lot bigger team. The community doesn't really have a say as much as they like to think they do. They don't. So maybe tap time just doesn't really work as well for that company. Imagine, instead of tap time, it's microtransaction time.
Yeah.
They start making some microtransactions.
Micro Mondays.
I feel like it would have very different effects if it happened to like Oldschool compared to RS3. Like Oldschool, we got some cool content coming out of it, out of tap time, and we have the ultimate say as well, right? I mean, sometimes it works out, sometimes we get like the Moss Giant boss. Sometimes Mod Wolf makes a quest that people don't want and he gets really, or like a quest item that people don't want and he gets really mad and just stops working on the quest itself.
What quest is
I don't know,
this?
some new, like the Fremnic Isles Part 3 type thing. The new nade is not that he was working on. People didn't really like it. And he got really mad. This is like a year and a bit ago, maybe longer.
Wow, I don't remember this at all.
Yeah, kind of weird. I feel like if they were to take that hour away, it's probably because nothing good was coming out of it.
Well, we do see some great things in the past for RuneScape. Well, they see some good stuff in the past for their RuneScape 3 content.
But is it like 5 people churning out really cool stuff and 98% of the people are like, playing with slinkies?
Actually it does look like that.
Yeah.
We have a list here and it has like 10 unique names, but like you'll have one JMod that has, hold on, 1 second, let me count. So yeah, it does look like that because there's 26 examples given on this Reddit post. So with 26 examples, you have, for example, one JMod is 6 of them. Another JMod is 5 of them. So for 2 of them right there, it's 11 out of the 26.
Yeah.
So that's a good point too. Maybe some other people just weren't coming up with anything.
And I would bet those people that are involved in all those good projects to come out of TAPP probably want to do it in their free time anyways.
Possibly.
I feel like if they're constantly coming up with good ideas to get implemented in the game, they're probably working on it at home to some degree. And they're like, all right, well, let's just get some free content. You know what I mean? Like, let's, fuck it.
Yeah. Because, I think we've all heard that Jagex doesn't exactly pay the greatest compared to other gaming companies.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a passion project. So that would make sense. Oh, before we moved on, I almost forgot about this one. But there were some small comments made by at least Mod Aiza and possibly Sween, where they didn't say yes or no, but they said something about a change happening to the toxic blowpipe. But an example of one of the comments made is, No One Cares Kid on Reddit said, is the rumors about a blowpipe nerf true? And then Aiza responded, maybe, maybe not. Since we talked about basically the tiers and power creeping and the balancing of all the weapons and gear we have for the end game class of armors and whatnot, it looks like that they might, at the very least, they're taking a look at the stats of all of these things. And I know in the past, there has been JMods that said on the Q&A that bringing out new content can be kind of difficult because of the way certain pieces of weapons are, and blowpipe is one of them because it's very strong, and it makes a ton of other content easier. So if they nerf it too much and they make it so it's like a shit tier item, or if it's just average, it's going to cause a lot of things to be a little bit tougher. You know, Vorkath, Zulrah, Jad even, Chambers of Xeric, Theater of Blood, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so I feel like if they take too long to nerf something, people end up like just thinking it'll never be nerfed, and then like I feel like when Jagex is nerfing stuff, they take so long that people get ingrained in like, yeah, it'll never be nerfed, and then as soon as we're all convinced it's never going to be nerfed, that's when they nerf it.
Yeah, that's true. The Ballista is a prime example of that, where Void was just, yeah, they were fucking everyone up in the wilderness, and that was just like, no, you just got to deal with this now. And then how often do you see a Voider with a Ballista? I don't see it too often. Like, you'll see it, but you don't see it as the Ballista is their main weapon and their KO weapon.
Yeah, it was rampant at one point. Even Zulrah is a good example.
What do you mean?
Zulrah took so long to get nerfed. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah, and then eventually they had to nerf it like 3 times.
So I do think, I mean, obviously I think the blowpipe should be nerfed, but what happens when the community gets mad about it is that people are like set on like it's just like, it's kind of annoying where like, okay, well, this is how things are. Wait, never mind.
Yeah, and because it takes so long for them to tweak it.
Yeah, my big thing is that a JMod makes a shitty comp, not even like it might be nerfed, it might not, and then the prices just drop.
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
And I think it's because everyone's sitting there being like, it has to be nerfed. If this item never gets nerfed, that's going to be an unbelievable decision.
Yeah.
Even if it takes like another year or two, it's going to be nerfed one day. And I sit there and I think the same thing. Yeah, there's no way this is not going to be like never touched again. They might take a while doing it, but it's definitely going to happen one day. It's almost impossible for it not to be, unless you're just, okay, that's the best item for a range in the game.
Yeah.
So I think that's why the prices are going to drop, because people are just expecting it to happen.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, 6 months has gone by and you're like, yeah, I guess we're still using this. Okay, yeah, cool. Anyways, now that is all I have for community gossip, rumors, community stuff, everything going on there. So that means we should shimmy on over to the lore zone. This week for lore, we will start talking about the God Wars bosses, beginning with General Graardor. General Graardor is one of, if not, last Org race on Oldschool Runescape. Orgs were a very tribal race, constantly at war with one another, and during the God Wars, most were killed in battle, all except for one. Graardor wasn't appointed to general until after the God Wars had first started. He then began commanding an army for the god Bandos. General Graardor led campaigns through Fedlip Hills, as well as 4 and 3, which today is known as the Wilderness. Not much is known about the battles that he was involved with, but eventually, throughout the Third Age, Bandos had fallen. General Graardor was sent into a rage at the loss of his god, where he would then blame the Dorgashun for the death of Bandos, which drove the goblin tribe into hiding in the caves beneath Lumbridge. Later on, General Graardor, as well as other generals for each of the gods, would find themselves fighting in the caverns beneath Trollheim, where they would then be frozen in time, only to be released when the cave is opened up again. Today, General Graardor can be found. Alongside him, his 3 trusted goblin sergeants, named Strongstack, Steel Will, and Grimspike. Next week, we will continue with the bosses found in the God Wars dungeon. Alrighty, now it's time to bring this one home. So we're about to hit a couple pretty large milestones, and I think we would be missing out if we didn't decide to do something for some of these milestones. So first things first, a couple weeks, we're going to be hitting level 99 podcasting.
Oh yeah, buddy. We're getting there.
Yeah, we're about to get our skill cape in that department. So that being said, we did get a suggestion about having a Q&A on the podcast at some point. So I think we should have one for episode 99 because I feel like that would be fitting. So I'll put that out there for you guys listening. If there's any questions you want to ask us, RuneScape related, non-RuneScape related, whatever it is, you can send that in through some of the venues, and I'll tell you about that in a second, or on Discord. I'll probably put a post.
Maybe we'll make like a separate temporary channel or something.
Yeah, if there's anything you want to ask, or if there's anything you want to share with us. But 99 isn't the only milestone we'll be hitting. One episode after that one, we are hitting triple digits. Episode 100 is coming up. And coincidentally, episode 100 will be following on the anniversary of when we started the show. I think episode 1 came out at some time during the first week of September, back in 2016. Yeah, September 4th, 2016. So if you have been with us for the long haul, or maybe you've just joined us this year, last year we put out a survey on ways we could improve the show. We had some questions and a little section you could leave some comments on things you would like to see in the show, things you didn't like, things you might want to see more of. Just a way for you guys to tell us on ways we can make the show better while we proceed with the next year of the show.
Hopefully we've come a long way. I hope we're still not like same quality and whatnot.
At the very least, the equipment improved.
Yeah.
And with our episode 100, Onmicide on our Discord was kind enough to fund a drop party for that new milestone. So he was nice enough to donate quite a bit of items for this one. It's a pretty big one. Roughly 150 mil for that drop party.
Damn, dude, 100 mil drop party? Can't believe we're doing a 50 mil drop party. That's crazy.
I was surprised when he gave us 30 mil for this drop party. It was unreal.
For real.
Unbelievable. But no, in all seriousness, yeah, there'd be about 150 mil worth of items dropped, provided by Onmicide on Discord. So I want to thank him in advance for funding this.
Yeah, it's huge.
So that is something we will iron out more details on, when it will be happening, what time works best for everyone, so as many people can enjoy it as possible. So the two big milestones coming up, Q&A for the 99, drop party event, and I guess podcast review for episode 100. And we'll give more information as each week goes by. Anyways, if you want to keep in touch with the show and all the fun stuff that goes on, you can find us on Twitter at TheWildernessRS. Our Facebook is facebook.com/TheWildernessPodcast. Our email address is thewildernesspodcast@gmail.com. And our in-game clan chat is WildCC. We also have a Discord where you can come in and chat with everybody and find groups, post your achievements, and kind of stay up to date with everything. There is a link posted on both Twitter and Facebook. One simple click, it should bring you to the server.
Yeah.
And Deegan, your turn.
Twitch, Twitter, DeeganRS. I actually streamed a little bit this week. I have to... I actually didn't stream any RS, just like random games. I have to like tweak with my settings a bit. Having some weird issues with my GPU. I don't really know why. Like, if I look right now, it's probably like... Oh yeah, she's sitting pretty high right now, like usage. There's something going on. Someone's mining bitcoins off my PC or something.
Sick.
I have no idea what's going on, but the stream quality has been like kind of spotty. I have to fix that though. Yeah, I'll probably actually might stream tonight. Play the new Metro game a little bit.
Cool, not bad.
Yeah. That's it for my promotional plug-in stuff.
Alrighty, cool stuff. So our song of the week was requested by That's Johnny T on Discord, and he says, Garden. Garden is a music track that is unlocked in Varrock. It was also one of the very first songs released in RuneScape. It is unlocked at the Varrock City Center, and it was composed by Ian Taylor. Alright, now it's time for us to get on out of here. So thank you very much, everybody, for listening to episode 96.
Yeah, hopefully I won't be sick next episode, but dude, I've been sick for like a month straight, maybe even longer. It felt like a month.
Yeah, you might want to go see the doc for that.
Nah.
Okay, fair enough. build up that immune system.
Yeah, the longer you're sick, the more in between you have of not being sick, right? Does that make sense? It doesn't, but it does.
100%.
See, here's the thing. If I have the cold for a month, I won't get the flu for that month. I'll just have the cold, all right? You can only have one illness at a time.
Hey, they'll go to you to get the vaccine. They'll just draw some blood and then pump it into other people.
Exactly.
Oh man, that's gonna be fun. All right, I'm getting tongue-tied and I need to get out of here. So thanks guys for listening once again, and check us next week.
Yeah, have a good one.